And welcome back to episode 142 of the Weekly Tech Wrap with me, Jay.
And me, Carl.
Oh, a little bit of reverb on the old mic there, Carl.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. Well, we'll level that down in the post-production. So we are back for episode 142. And as mentioned on last week's show, this will be we're going to go quiet for 2 weeks after this show, and we'll return late August due to some conflicting business travel and other things. We're going to have a 2-week break after this, but we won't be going anywhere. We will be back. As we are we're in our third year of doing this show. I can't believe I'm saying that, but we are in our third year of doing this. It's unbelievable, really, isn't it?
It is. It's crazy.
It is. So we're back this week, and we have got a nice mix-up of, I guess tech stories, tech craziness this week. We're going to talk crypto. We're going to talk, was it WorldCoin? I think is the. We've got Elon Musk again, but don't panic. It's just a craziness again. We're going to talk unpatchable vulnerabilities, slightly related to Elon, but not really. We're going to talk Amazon. We're going to talk Google. We're going to talk North Korea, and the Tech Wrap Rumor Mill is back for a couple of little rumors as well. Before we get into we're in peak rumor season anyway, but
we are
the events. And we were just talking in the green room before the show, but what we've decided is when we come back after our 2-week break, we're going to have probably a little bit of a tech update / what we've been listening to, what we've been watching review. We haven't done one of those for a while, have we? I think.
And which gadgets we've bought them. Maybe shouldn't spend so much money.
Yeah, what gadgets we're looking to buy as well, and I guess things that we've looked at earlier in the year and probably haven't purchased, but would like to get back into. So I think it's probably a good place to be. Plus, there's some great shows that have come back out as well. Apple TV Plus Foundation is back out. Other great shows that have come out as well, or will be returning in this time period as well. So that's something to look forward to, and we'll talk about that in a couple of weeks' time. Right, but let's get cracking. Before we do that, I must say to you, I've been out today at a country show and I bought some biltong or jerky, dried meat, and I just cannot stop eating it. So I apologise for the chewing.
Oh dear.
Right then.
Right.
So what's the first story of the week then?
Yeah. Sam Altman, him of ChatGPT fame.
Oh, OpenAI.
OpenAI, yes. He has opened another company called WorldCoin.
Of course he has.
And if that sounds like another crypto coin, then that's because it is.
Hang on a minute. But this sounds very familiar, if you don't mind me saying to you, just before a slight tangent, is to OneCoin.
OneCoin, yes. That was definitely a scam. This is maybe a scam.
Well, that's Dr. Ruja Ignatova, isn't it? The one who she's missing, isn't she? She's been missing for some time now. But
for the money.
Yeah. So when I saw WorldCoin, I couldn't help but go to OneCoin. But we're not.
I know.
But just to be clear, this is not a scam, is it? That we're aware of.
No. So no. But the news isn't about OneCoin itself. OneCoin has just launched World ID. Sorry, WorldCoin has launched World ID, I should say. So I'll let them say what this is. So World ID is a new privacy-first, decentralized identity protocol. It enables seamless sign-in to websites, mobile apps, and crypto apps, while proving you're a unique, real person without sharing personal data like names, email, etc. So you may be asking, how are they confirming that you are who they say you are? Well, this is where the orb comes in.
Sorry?
And it's an actual shiny silver orb. So basically, you can go to these places that have an orb. You need to bring your government ID, give it your personal information, and then scan your iris with the orb. Now, remember when they said about not sharing personal information? We'll return back to that in a minute. So yeah, once complete, you get given your World ID along with 50 World coins. Sounding a bit like a scam.
Yeah, I was going to say, carry on, because this is really funny.
Okay, but even better, if you want to be an orb operator, they'll also pay you commission in WorldCoin as well. But so far, 2.2 million people have signed up for this. But
where do I sign up?
So to protect my identity, I need to give you all my identity information.
What?
I mean, what could go wrong here?
But hang on a minute, back it up a second. So to prove who hang on a second. So I've got to sign up for this thing, and then to prove who I am, I've got to go somewhere where they're going to scan my eyes.
It's to give all your personal information and scan your eyes.
And what are they going to do with my personal information?
Well, I don't know on that one. They're saying they're keeping it private, but it's probably only a matter of time until they're hacked, and then they have all your personal information and your biometric information. So we'll see where that goes. But we're not the only ones to question this. many governments have gone, eh? So I think Germany, several government entities have questioned this. So we've got the Bavarian State Office for Data Protection Supervision. They've been keeping an eye on them since November, apparently last year, and they're concerned over processing of sensitive data at a very large scale.
Okay.
Also, we have the Federal Financial Supervisory Authority. They're also closely monitoring the company, as it's not clear if WorldCoin has complied with all laws and rules with the launch.
So something interesting. When I was looking this earlier, and I looked at these WorldCoin tokens, isn't it? Which is what you're saying you get, isn't it? You know, as
yeah. If you sign up, you get 50 of them.
Now, on their website, they've got WorldCoin token that says a more human token, freely, equally, and globally distributed to unique humans, double star. Now, scroll down the page, you've got 1 star at the bottom, you know, the asterisk, I mean, and it states WorldCoin tokens, WLD, are not intended to be available to people or companies who are residents or located, incorporated, or registered agent in the United States or other restricted territories.
Well, people are actually taking more of an interest in trying to regulate cryptocurrency.
Yeah, I was like, okay, that's curious.
Yeah. So Germany's taking a closer look. The UK's taking a closer look. You know, the ICO, our Information Commissioner's Office,
God,
they have noted the launch of WorldCoin in the UK. We're making further inquiries, and Kenya's just basically blocked them. Their Ministry of the Interior has issued a decree suspending WorldCoin enrollment in the country, citing concerns with authenticity and legality of its activities in the areas of security, financial services, and data protection.
Okay, back it up a second. I think there's there's pot kettle black there. But anyway, we're not going down that road.
I know. But if they're worried, then there's probably something wrong with it.
Yeah, good point. I mean, I had a look at it. I was curious about it. I was like, where are these orbs then? You know, apparently, so in the UK there is 3 orbs. They all appear to be in London.
2 in London, haven't we?
I think,
2 or 3
in London. Because there's a thing that says find an orb on the website, scroll down to your country.
There is.
And then it was Bright Moments London and Tech Space in Worship Street in London. And I was like, what, you know, and then I sort of went to the United States and they also had Bright Moments Venice Beach and another place as well. So I'm wondering who these Bright Moments are, but I wonder if it's a company who have signed up to do something similar, because Bright Moments show up in a couple of other places as well.
Okay.
But yeah, you're right. There's a few places around the world that have them. I was curious about it, I'll be honest, until the fact of, like you say, you know, what you needed to give away. And I was like, yeah, you're right. I'm good.
Yeah. No. I can't get on board with giving the company all my information to be able to protect my information, because I then just giving it away. To me, it sounds like I've just put it in one more place that can be breached.
Yeah, Sam Altman's an interesting character, given what he's doing with OpenAI, and he's also, you know, testified in front of Congress, hasn't he, around, you know, the whole piece around regulation of AI, and he's kind of for it. You know, he kind of is for it. But he also agrees that we aren't, you know, he isn't building some kind of, you know, Terminator Skynet. But what gets me is do we keep? I'll rephrase this. Why do people keep falling for this rubbish all again? Is it this? It's just the same. It's the same. I don't want to say scam, but it's the same. I don't know. What is it? You know, without calling it a scam, it's the same. I don't know, trick, the same illusion every time. Is it not? Because
I don't know. What doesn't get me? Okay, so when I was reading more about it, what he was basically saying is that we need some way to prove that people are people and not AI. Okay, so this was the idea of World ID. Okay, I can kind of understand that one, yeah. But while we've tacked on cryptocurrency, that's where they've lost me.
Yeah, why?
Is it the incentive to sign up for this? I don't know. It just seems a bit, as you said, scammy.
That is the thing that worries me here.
But 2.2 million people have signed up, so
well, that's it. Yeah. But, you know, given what you know, OpenAI are doing with ChatGPT 4, I mean, it's mind blowing in some of the stuff that's happening with that. I read the other day on their website now, they've updated it to say about how much GPT 4 outperforms ChatGPT. They recognise now it's the uniform bar exam, which is which is for wanting to become a barrister, isn't it? A lawyer, whoever.
Yes.
The uniform bar exam, according to OpenAI, ChatGPT got you, if it took the exam based on the information, would have got you in the 10th percentile of that exam.
Okay.
GPT-4, 90th percentile.
Wow, that's a marked improvement.
Yeah. And there's a thing called the Biology Olympiad. I've never heard of this, but it's one of these international competitions, around to inspire and give people into science. And it's a secondary school competition. And
okay, yeah.
And ChatGPT would have got you 31st percent or place, I should say. Top, low down, or percent, and then 31st percentile. Excuse me, sorry, not place. ChatGPT 4 with a vision add-on, so to be able to look and identify images, 99th percentile.
Wow.
They are doing clever stuff. But then on the other side of the coin, like you say, you've got this WorldCoin rubbish that just is like, what? What?
You had a bit of credibility there until you attacked that one on.
Yeah,
you just tanked
it. I did. Well, there you go. WorldCoin, not to be confused with OneCoin, but possibly similar. So we'll basically
wait for the breaking news that Mr. Sam Altman has disappeared.
So but I mean, given the fact he's offering $50 in crypto to get your eyes.
Was it no? It's 50 coins. I don't know what the value of that is.
Well, they're attacking. They're 1.8 to the dollar at the minute.
Okay.
So they're worth 50. It's worth in theory, it's worth $50, isn't it? Then.
Yeah.
But don't forget. Hang on a second before we move away from this. This is again the whole illusion of this. They're only worth 1.8 to the dollar if you're prepared to believe that and give somebody the $1.8 per WorldCoin.
Yeah.
So again, it's a bit like in the sense of what the fiat currencies are. We've mentioned this a few years ago. With the pound, the dollar, the yen, whatever.
Yeah.
That bit of paper that you have in your wallet or shows in your bank account that says we only believe that because you believe that and I believe that that's worth it, isn't it?
We all need to believe we've actually got some money.
But that's the truth, though, isn't it? Ultimately, we are all believing this. Effectively, we're all bought into this great big, I don't want to say kind of illusion, but it is an illusion, isn't it? Because ultimately, until somebody stops believing in it, it carries on. And that's the same thing with this WorldCoin. They're not worth 1.8 to the dollar. Somebody has decided that, and somebody's prepared to pay that. And that's the thing about it, isn't it?
It is. Exactly.
So there you go. So we'll let you know if we manage to get our eyes on one of these orbs. I'm interested to see one. Maybe
I think we might take a trip during our lunch break.
I was going to say one day in London. Yeah, we'll have a wander down and see what's going on down there and have a see it. But maybe we could get signed up, like you say, as an orb operator. To be.
We could. I'm not scanning myself, but I'll take the money.
Exactly. Maybe we could do that. See where we go there. But But like you say, we'll keep an eye on it and wait for the breaking news then.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, moving on from one crazy thing to the other. Then, so we talked about Elon Musk last week, didn't we? And he was basically now saying that they're being sued left, right, and centre. They're suing their own legal company. Well, now now Elon Musk has decided that, according to him, on the 6th of August, if you, and I quote, if you were unfairly treated by your employer due to your posting or liking or something on this platform, now. Notice he doesn't say Twitter or X. We will fund your legal bill. No limit. Please let us know. Okay. So now he's decided he has an unlimited defense fund for anybody in the world who's likely to...
I mean, this man's hypocrisy knows no bounds. I mean, he has a very short-term memory because didn't he fire 7 of his engineers?
He did.
For posts they put on the platform. The platform. So is he going to fund their legal bills to sue him?
He also fired.
I'm guessing it's a no.
And he also fired. Don't forget, his one of his acquired companies, that Icelandic fella. I can't think of the guy's name.
Oh yes, yeah, I know who you mean, but the name eludes me.
Again, for contradicting him on Twitter.
Although the Icelandic guy was right.
It's true, and that worked out. I believe that was resolved in the end, and thankfully so.
Yeah.
But this is ridiculous. So where's the money coming from?
I mean, yeah. I don't know. I mean, would you trust him to pay at this point?
No.
No, because I mean, what's he done? So he can't pay his own bill. So he's not paid Twitter's rent in more than one city, has he?
No.
He's left these African employees without severance pay. So he's just refused to pay their severance package after firing them. He's facing $14 million in lawsuits over unpaid bills. And also, he missed his first revenue sharing payment to creators on the platform, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, as usual, his mouth's writing checks that he can't cash.
Ultimately, everybody that then he fired based on the fact now could argue that, okay, then, by the way, we'll take a punt on that.
Will you pay my cost to sue you, please?
I mean, the ultimate irony is it forced a lawsuit for him to buy Twitter, didn't it?
Well, yeah, there is that.
This is just absolute steaming pile of what comes out the back of a horse.
It is. But again, this is the same every week.
It is. It's just, I mean, we've got the whole thing at the moment, haven't we, with the fight with Zuckerberg. So, you know, the Zuckerberg fight. What was it he tweeted? Was it last night he tweeted about the fight?
So I was trying to think where we are from last time we spoke about it. So we had the one that he was going to see the doctors about his back, wasn't he? And apparently he's got a fused vertebrae, but that's fine. But he needs some work doing on his shoulder, so that's going to knock him out for 2 or 3 months. And then didn't it change to how about we do a discussion cage match?
Yeah, and then
so we just talk rather than actually fight.
Yeah, and then I believe yesterday Zuckerberg posted on Threads saying that I think we can all agree Elon isn't serious and it's time we move on. And apparently said, and he also finished with, if you ever get serious about a real date and time, he knows how to get hold of me. Because you're right. Yeah. Well, there was a post yesterday, wasn't there, that or Elon liked from somebody else, basically saying about a debate competition or something, or
that was the one, yeah.
And then he was like, "What
cage match discussion?"
So now he's posted. It's just absolute rubbish. It was about him fighting in Italy, wasn't it? They were going to fight in front of the Colosseum.
Oh God, that was the one. They didn't even the Italian government pipe up and say,
"Yeah, we're up for it."
Yeah, it's not happening.
Yeah, exactly.
Elon, who?
Yeah, we're not up for that. And he apparently had spoken to the Minister of Culture, wasn't it? And it would all be right. It's just, it's just absolute. He is the guy in The Simpsons, remember, who built the monorail.
Yes. I know the one. All the promises and no follow through.
Exactly.
He's just a pathological liar.
He is. Oh, man.
But he gets the airtime because we're talking about him now.
Well, that's it, isn't it? That's the problem. And we're part of the problem. It's the fact of we're talking about it, everybody's talking about it. He's getting the airtime, he's getting the publicity, he's getting what he wants, and that's all he wants, isn't it? And you could argue that he's an idiot, but actually he's probably very shrewd marketeer, if anything, isn't
he? Yeah,
very shrewd marketeer.
I'm in two minds about that one because the more I hear, the more I think, as you said, he's just an idiot, and I don't want to be on any of his platforms,
no.
or buy anything from him.
No, and that's the thing. Absolute,
But the mass public lap it up because I suppose they don't follow the rest of the story and actually find out what's going on. They think it all happened and it never really happened. So he's won in that regard.
Yeah, he has won in that regard, and which is a real shame because Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, is a great platform, but it's just turning into his personal fiefdom, isn't it? For him to do whatever he wants on it, which is an absolute shame. But there you go. So yes, so there's that news. If you have been unfairly treated by your employer due to something you've done on Twitter/X, post, tweet, exit, I don't know what you call it now. Apparently Elon will fund your legal bills, and there's no limits. So crack on.
Yeah. We'll see how that goes.
Talking of legal bills, so yes, so apparently then there is apparently a large vulnerability in the AMD chips that Tesla use for their cars, which apparently now means that you can jailbreak your Tesla and get behind the paywall, isn't it?
You can. So apparently researchers from TU Berlin, they've been able to bypass some of Tesla's software locks thanks to a voltage fault injection attack on AMD's security processor. Yeah, so this is basically giving them the ability to run arbitrary code on the infotainment system, as well as enabling them to extract basically unique hardware RSA keys used to authenticate and authorize the car in Tesla's service network. Going to be interesting to see where this one goes, because obviously Tesla has a paywall, don't they?
They do.
The car shipped with all the hardware, and you can turn it on and off by paying some money for a subscription. And this is probably why people have concentrated on this one, isn't it? Because if I can get me some free goodies in my car, why not?
I mean, I would be honest with you, given the fact of, like you say, how every manufacturer seems to be going for a subscription model, why not? Yeah, why not? Well, get you, what's it, heated seats, isn't it? Or, I don't know,
Yeah.
access to other capabilities. I mean, don't get me wrong, though, I'm not sure how I'd feel about jailbreaking the car, given effectively the Tesla is a computer on wheels.
Jailbreak my car or and end up bricking it.
Well, that's the worry, isn't it? That is the worry, isn't it? So how does this work? So what they've done is, apparently this is something to do with the Linux system that runs the whole of the car, isn't it? And there is encrypted NVMe storage that basically carries everything on the car about the information about the user data. And this as part of this hack, if you're the vulnerability, they were able to decrypt that storage, weren't they? Make changes, and also then can actually say turn things on and off.
It's I don't understand fully, but they basically gained root access to the security processor by doing some kind of voltage regulation that allowed them to insert packets at a certain point.
I mean, the fact that somebody's got root access to my car tells me everything I need to know about why I don't want.
Yeah.
I mean, it just seems daft. I mean, BMW particularly are massively fond, aren't we? We've talked about this before, about the subscription model for turning things on and off, basically, isn't it? But now the fact that your car, you can download DLC for your car. I mean, it's like buying Forza, isn't it? Like, I'll take the upgrade pack. What do you want? I want faster car, please.
Yeah, I've always been in two minds about this particular software. I think it's okay if the car you're buying is cheaper, even though it has the hardware in, but it's not enabled, and then you're paying a one-time cost to enable that, which would bring it up to the price of if you had bought it, initially when you bought the car, or somewhere around that. Then I think that's okay. I can see the benefit to the manufacturer and the benefit to us that I can add something in at a later date. But yeah, if you're not reducing the price of the car and then making you pay again for it, that's where I kind of had the problem there.
Yeah, this is where it gets kind of grey area, isn't it? Of what's going on here, but yeah, this is quite worrying. I guess now, are people? I have to be honest with you, I didn't double check on but I mean, is this a vulnerability that can be exploited in the wild?
I don't know. It's researchers at the moment, so I presume it's a proof of concept, but I doubt it'll be long before this is potentially in the wild.
Well, yeah, that's the worry, isn't it? That is the worry. All of a sudden you're
obviously you'll need physical access to it because you're regulating voltage and stuff to do. So it could be too complicated for most to do, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, watch out! Is there somebody stealing your car? No, I'm just hacking it. Stand back.
I'm enabling the seats for you.
Oh, yeah, that'll be it. There's some of the old days of the ODB plugin, like we've used before.
That's the one.
Changing things. No, I'm just gonna hack the voltage first. Bear with me. What? Yeah, crazy. That's all I can say on this one.
It is.
So, talking of, I guess, of chips and things, then, isn't it? So, Amazon. No, not the first.
This is a short and sweet one. I was just kind of the mind boggled about the stats in it. So we obviously know Amazon uses a lot of ARM server chips. They bought I can't remember the company's name, but the chip is called Graviton. They use that everywhere. But a research company released some statistics about kind of number of ARM server chips out in the wild and who's using them. And apparently, Amazon has just over 50% of the entire worldwide user base of server ARM chips.
That is nuts.
It is. Second place is what got me. Second place is the whole of China. So Amazon is using more ARM chips, server chips, than the whole of China.
That's scary, isn't it? Really?
Well, yeah, it's a bit crazy. So whoever's in the next place only has 10% between the rest of them, don't they?
I mean, that is crazy. I mean, talking of ARM though, given the fact they sell a lot of chips there, ARM themselves aren't they due to list on the stock exchange?
IPO.
Yeah. Interestingly, did you see though who is likely to go in as some of the kind of, I guess, main partners?
Oh, we got Apple, Intel, Amazon, I presume.
Yep, and Nvidia.
Oh, Nvidia, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Nvidia have just released or releasing an ARM server chip, aren't they?
Yeah. So Amazon are looking to be one of the anchor investors. Well, of course they are, aren't they? Because
Yeah.
given what they want to safeguard it. But also, Nvidia, Samsung as well. They say Apple. They were all lined up as anchor investors. So
No Qualcomm on that
I
list?
think they were. I think I read somewhere. But yeah, talk about 70+ billion, weren't they? I think the initial listing on that one.
Wowza.
But yeah, it could work out very well for them. But yeah, God. But going back to your point at Amazon, I mean, wow, unbelievable the amount of chips that just their data centers, isn't it? The cloud is just somebody else's data center, isn't it?
Well, it is, yeah. It's not really a cloud.
No. Try explaining that to some people.
Oh,
it's in the cloud. Where is it?
The magic of the cloud.
Yeah, it's not quite where you think it is.
Talking to cloudy people, though.
Yes.
Google. They operate a lot in the cloud, don't they? Yeah, so there's another lawsuit, and this has been going on for a while.
Lawsuit? I mean, I've lost count of how many lawsuits we must have.
I think we might have discussed this probably 2 or 3 years back, but it's been one of these long ones. So there's been an update. So Judge Yvonne Gonzalez Rogers has basically denied Google's push for a summary judgment in that it's a $5 billion lawsuit over the way it's tracked internet activity, even when users were incognito mode. So
I remember
and most people know, that if you're in incognito mode, it stops recording, or it should stop recording your browsing history on your system locally on that particular machine. Your router, your ISP are still going to know where you've browsed. The sites you go to are still going to know that you've gone to them, but it wouldn't be recorded in your local history, your drop-down menu, your history bar, etc. Well, apparently with Chrome, that's not entirely true. So the lawsuit claims that Google's cookies, analytics, and tools in its app continue to track internet browsing activity even after users have activated this incognito mode. And apparently they have proof that, or evidence that Google stores users' regular and private browsing data in the same log files. The ones it uses to send users personalized ads.
I mean, yeah, I have to say, incognito mode is there if you don't want to record the history. I use it if I'm trying to do something on different sites or the same site that I don't want it to remember that I've logged in. So if I'm trying to test a login authentication, that's where incognito mode personally is quite helpful.
But that's probably different for us in the tech sector versus your average consumer.
True. But if you're doing anything dodgy, don't use Chrome.
What are you going to use, Edge? It's Chrome as well.
Brave, isn't it? Brave, isn't it?
Brave. That's Chrome, but it strips it all out. But
it's Firefox. Let's be honest. What is in Chrome? Firefox, yeah.
Bust out IE6.
Yeah, of course.
But I suppose I think the point of the whole lawsuit is the fact that incognito mode says it won't save anything locally. It then goes and saves everything locally.
Basically, and then as the point is that Google can then identify people with a high probability of success.
Exactly. So while they say they anonymize it, it's mixed in with all the unanonymized stuff, so it's very easy to figure it out.
I mean, Google know more about you than you know about yourself, to be fair. I mean, the algorithms that are there, the searching capabilities, they absolutely know more about you than you do.
Yeah.
And that's because that algorithm is trained daily by you, what you look at, what you search for, where you go, what you read, what you buy. If you're doing it,
what you watch on YouTube,
everything is there. You're right. Everything is there. So ultimately, you are creating that whole whole information bank about yourself. And I think the same if you look at Netflix. And my wife's Netflix account versus my account, if you will, and then you look at it and you think, well, why doesn't that show on mine? But she watches 2 or 3 different films or whatever series, and of course it alerts her very quickly. And then I log in, and everything is different. The only things that typically may not be different is like the latest releases may show up, but they're not showing up in the same place in the carousel. They show up differently. And what I also noticed as well is that the image, the screenshot or the poster image for it.
Yeah, the thumbnail kind of thing. Yeah.
That's it. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word. They're different as well.
So that's to entice you. Which scene would be best to entice you to watch it?
So it's really clever in the sense of what they are doing there. But and again, so Google's doing no different. And again, don't condone it, don't agree with it.
I think it's the fact that Google says they will not do it, but then do it anyway.
But again, Christ, if you believe that, you'll believe anything.
Oh, I know, but say to me and you are different from the regular users when it comes to tech. We've been through this a long time. But
maybe it's cynicism. That's more my point. Is the cynicism in me is like, why would you believe it? But I get what you're saying. I do get what you're saying.
Yeah. Wow. Talking of naughty people, though,
these are definitely naughty people.
Yeah, those pesky North Korean hackers are at it again, but this time they're hacking Russia. Well, Russian missile maker. I'm going to butcher this name, so chronic.
Oh, good.
NPO Mashinostianev. We're going to call them NPO MASH for short because I can pronounce that one. Anyway, NPO MASH, they design and build hypersonic cruise missiles known as Zircon, which according to the Russian state media, so take with a pinch of salt, can reach Mach 8.
Okay.
Very fast. So this apparently happened back in 2021, and apparently Korea had been in there for 5 to 6 months, presumably, to advance their own missile program, get what information they can on the missiles and the technology they used. And it was allegedly, according to Sentinel-1, there were 2 North Korean hacking groups in the company. There's a state-backed one called Scarcraft. They identified them as a force behind the email server compromise. So they got their email servers compromised and all the contents of that. They also got their Windows systems backdoored, and that was attributed to the Lazarus group, which we've spoken about before. Yeah, they're good at that one. So send in both groups to make sure we get it. And we're pretty sure they were constantly monitoring them because apparently as soon as the email server compromise was detected, all communication just stopped with the hacking groups. So very closely monitored, I imagine.
So this is interesting because, on the face of it, North Korea and Russia are great friends,
Well, exactly.
And especially with the conflict in the Ukraine, Russia needs all the friends it can get, and especially more importantly, it needs all the arms and ammunition that it can get.
Yeah.
And there are, rumors that North Korea has been supplying Russia with ammunition. Some of the Chinese have as well. There are, reports have come out of analysts on that. So it's interesting that, they're doing this. But then again, North Korea obviously wants to speed up its weapons programs, particularly around things like hypersonic missiles. It's obviously its rocketry, it's in ICBMs. So why not hack somebody that's probably easier to hack than the Americans or European? And given, the security in Russia probably isn't as high as some of the Western powers, especially if they are using things like Windows and that probably they're not going to be running the latest versions, I very much suspect, are they? And, to the same degree.
Or the pirated copies.
Well, yes, it is true. So interesting. The Zircon, by the way, it's supposedly say Mach 8, but the Ukrainians allegedly shot down several of the Kinzhal, which is the Killjoy. NATO name reporting is the AES-24 Killjoy, which is not the same quite as a Zircon, but it is also a hypersonic ballistic missile. And according to Ukrainians, they shot down several of them with Patriot missile batteries.
Oh, well, there's an interesting one. So remember we said that Zircon was Mark 8. Okay, so NPO MASH also has IP and tech for what they call ampulization of rocket fuels. It's a technique where missiles are fueled and sealed in the factory to allow faster deployment. So, in 2021, North Korea claims it uses this technique in its Hwasong 8 hypersonic missile, the one that can go, Mark 8.
Yeah.
Huh.
How interestingly that that you two are also.
What a coincidence!
Yes. How did you manage to do that so quickly? Well, you'll never.
We stole it from the Russians.
Yes. There's nothing like a close friend, is there, for
Oh,
borrowing information
exactly.
from.
So, whether the Russians will retaliate at this
I
point,
very much doubt. Very much doubt.
we've got bigger things to worry about, I
Well,
suppose.
they have got big things to worry about, and also what they're going to do. North Korea.
Well, they'll never admit it.
No, they'll never admit it.
For a start,
and it's also the fact of if it is happening, like I say, they're not going to want to admit it. They need to keep, on the face of it, relations very public. North Korea showing their friends, more of their communist Marxist friends. But behind closed doors, who knows what goes on? But yeah, it's amusing to say the least, in my opinion.
It is. It was just the brazen of it, just announcing the new Hwang-Song 8 hypersonic missile using this technology.
Yeah, you'll never guess.
It was like a face slap to Russia, wasn't it?
You'll never guess what we've just released. What's that? Check this out. Hang on a minute. What? Well, I do believe it is time for the Tech Round Rumour Mill. We are in peak Rumour Mill season at the minute. So, unsurprisingly, we've got another iPhone 15 Pro rumour for this week, isn't it? So, tell me about it.
But it's not necessarily an iPhone Pro. It's a juicy one. So apparently, Apple and TSMC have signed an exclusive deal for TSMC's 3nm tech. They'll be used apparently going to be using the A17 chip in the iPhone 15 Pro. But basically, the deal means that no other company will have access to this tech for at least a year. So the Apple will be the only one for the next year with 3nm tech from TSMC. So really, it's going to give Apple a big lead in, an even larger lead in performance, I should say, and power consumption, which you usually get. Strangely, the report is saying that TSMC will also be in line for any costs associated with defects when producing the A17. But apparently, the yield rate is only between 70 and 80%. So we're saying, 1 in every 5 chips is possibly defective, and TSMC is going to swallow that. But by doing that, Apple's going to be their guinea pig for the 3nm processing, and they can iron out any other bugs before I suppose they open it up to everyone else in the next year or so.
I'm not surprised at this, to be honest with you. Apple have got a lot of money, and the only way to really get ahead, isn't it, is to buy up the production line. And
so they've bought everything.
They have, and given the supply, the global supply chain issues that we've
in this microeconomic climate.
Yes, that's the one. You want to get ahead of the game, and what better way to do that than to say, right then, well, guess what, Mr. Supplier, we're going to buy everything you've got. Thanks very much. And why not? Why not do it?
I'm really surprised they haven't made a stab at just buying TSMC.
Yeah, but it's.
Yeah, I'll never get through the regulators.
Not just that. Again, a lot of these things, isn't it? You want to outsource, because if something goes wrong, you can jump to another supplier.
You can, but who else has got 3nm other than Intel allegedly next year?
Allegedly.
I don't think it's going to be next year, but I'd like to be proven wrong. There's nothing better than competition.
No, there is nothing better than competition. You're absolutely right about that. And the Bionic A17, which, I mean, at this point, how different to the M chips are they? I doubt. I mean, they're probably very similar, aren't they?
Very close, yeah.
Given the M1 was spawned from the Bionic line, wasn't it? Really,
it was. Yeah, with the A12X. Well, that was the dev boards.
Yeah, so they weren't far off it, to be honest with you. I don't think. No. But Apple are not going to want to have anything slowing down the adoption of this phone. Now, we're probably in, as we've talked about before, we're probably not in a major feature upgrade this year. The iPhone 15 is not going to give you masses of features. Yes, we're going to talk about, potentially titanium casings. We're going to talk about
USB-C, an action button.
We've got a periscope lens, which is great. But we're not talking a systematic shift in design at all.
No.
But there are still some good features there, and a lot of that, to be fair, this 17 chip is probably going to power a lot of it, but you're also going to get the same probably from the 16 from the previous generation chip, aren't you, as well?
Yep.
So, but yeah, look, Apple made a smart move here. They've got deep pockets. why wouldn't you spend the money to get ahead of it? So yeah, it's an absolute good point. Talking of iPhones, before we talk about the next one, I have taken the plunge on running iOS 17.
Oh, dangerous.
Well, so take a step back. I was
It's not
I
really.
was running the beta on my iPad and my other phone, not my
Okay.
everyday phone, my other kind of slash other phone, and I've been running that since beta 2, and they were very good. I've now decided to take the plunge with beta 5 on my everyday phone, and actually it's not too bad. Now you and I both had like a real hesitation for the last two releases of iOS because it didn't support our bank, did it? And
Yeah.
we couldn't get it because it wouldn't support our bank. So we were like, this is ridiculous. And
Yeah, I can't have to. I mean, I can move my banking authentication, but really, do I want it
no.
on my iPad?
But now,
Because that's just a pain in the
but it works. It works fine, and it works first time. And I've also gone to WatchOS 10 as well, the beta.
Nice.
And we talked about it when it was released. A bit of the UI changes, wasn't there? Some of the kind of the difference on the carousel. So if I've got my watch here, if I press the crown, digital crown, I get the apps not in that massive kind of app thing. It now scrolls up in a list, but I can go left and right. But it scrolls them basically up in a list now, which is nice. Showing you the
Okay.
little icons, but they're not in that tiny little weird octagon. If I press the action button, or not the action button, press the side button, you get all of the things like silent, power mode, battery life, that kind of stuff. Yeah. And if I swipe up, I get the widgets. So I can see the widgets that are running. So like the news, my Apple Health, my weather, really nicely done. And if I swipe down, I get notifications. And if I swipe left, you don't get anything. But it just seems a lot cleaner. Here's the weird thing as well, though, with both of them. I'm not seeing the usual crazy battery life issues.
Okay, because that's always been the killer.
I took my phone off charge. I took my phone off charge this morning. I've been out all day in the country. I've used it a few times for pictures. 69%.
That's all right. Not
My
bad.
watch is on 33%, and that was taken off charge at about 7:30 this morning. No, tell a lie. No, it wasn't.
Okay.
What am I on about? My watch has been off charge since 11 o'clock last night.
Oh yeah, you wear it overnight.
I charge my watch before bed, and then I put it on to sleep with it, so I get the sleep tracking. So my watch, I've been wearing my watch since 11 o'clock last night, and it's on 33%.
Wow, that's doing all right.
I am absolutely impressed by it because to me, this is, like you say, the one thing that usually drives me nuts is the whole thing around battery life is terrible, blah 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 blah. At the moment, we're looking okay. So yeah, so far I'm interested when I go away for work next week. I'm interested to try out the standby mode, with the clock.
Oh yeah, definitely. I might have to do one before going away.
Yeah, I don't know whether it's psychological, but it feels slightly snappier on the phone as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So it is good. It is good. Anyway, so let's get the last rumor in. So what's the other one that we've got in the bank this week then?
From Mr. Gurman. We're talking M3 time, because obviously just after the iPhone launch, we'll be getting, allegedly, new MacBook Pros. So he's talking more details about the M3 Max chip. So nothing too exciting here. They've apparently been experimenting with the chip, up to 16 CPU cores, 40 GPU cores, and that'll be for new high-end MacBook Pros. So I think, as we suspect, I think we've talked about this before, not a significant jump. I mean, yes, in the CPU cores, I think the top-end M2 Max has 12 CPU cores. So you get an extra 4 there. But GPU core-wise, jumping from 38 to 40 really isn't a huge one. Now, these will apparently be on 3 nanometer as well. So maybe they'll be able to use lower power or clock to higher frequencies. So you might be getting more performance that way.
How many GPU cores again?
40 apparently on the top of one. The M2 Max tops out at 38.
There also, isn't it, there's rumor that the MacBook Pros are going to go up to 48 gig of RAM as well, isn't it? That's the other thing I think.
Oh, they already do more than that, don't they? But 48's a new weird one.
But
I think they did,
you can't select 48.
16. No, I think they did 16, 32, and 64.
Yeah,
didn't
you
they?
can't select 48 gig of RAM on on the MacBook Pros.
No, that's what I mean. So this is a new entry in between the 32 and the 64.
So I mean, again, that's a lot of RAM. But I was thinking about, so when these come out next year, because mine's an M1, I could be tempted to do an upgrade at this point. You know, it could be tempting. It's a lot of grunt though.
Do you need it? What are you going to do?
Do I need it? Because do you need it? Do we need any of it?
No, I want it.
Don't ask stupid questions, man. I mean, the 16-core CPU, 40-core GPU, and 48 gig of RAM, because 96 is overkill, surely. 48 gig of RAM, I mean, that's fine. And I'm thinking, but running virtual machines, running Windows in a virtual machine as a daily driver alongside that, plus having, at the moment, I mean, I've lost count how many tabs I've got because I've started to group my tabs in Edge.
Oh yeah,
there's probably 50 plus tabs open.
See, I'm very militant. I closed down the tabs when I finished with them.
I've got 50 odd tabs open probably across there, but I grouped in the different groups.
Yeah,
so, I'm up for this. I think the gain on the gain is minimal. I think from what I understood on the piece of, compared to M2, it's about a 20% gain. I think I read somewhere before, roughly speaking.
Okay.
But given the fact, as you say, it's moving to the new 3 nanometer, that will have massive improvements on battery. That's what it's going to be about, isn't it?
Definitely.
So interesting. I don't know whether we'll see that this year. We might do, probably October, maybe, depending on the timings, I guess.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I guess we could do. But I'm interested to see how this comes out. But 48 gig of RAM, all the way home. I'd have that, please.
All the RAM.
Yeah, 16 gig was too low, but I should have gone higher, but I didn't. Times are different, my friend. Times are different.
Yeah, exactly.
Right then, that's probably a good place for us to wrap up for today. We will be back in 2 weeks' time. They said next week, so we'll be back in 2 weeks' time. So make that very clear. We're going to be silent for 2 weeks. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time, probably the last week of August, and we're going to have a wrap up on the latest tech stories. We're going to have a talk about, as we said, of the things that we've been watching, listening, all the gadgets that we've been wanting to buy and have bought, I should say, as well, and talk about that as well. So you, of course, can find us on X/Twitter. Do we tweet, I guess, or do we X? Who knows anymore? But you can find us.
Post.
Yes, you can find us on. So you can find us on X. We're at Weekly Tech Rant, and of course, all of our show notes at techrant.online, and where we post everything that we talked about today on this show. And of course, wherever you listen to your podcast, you can find us. Share with your friends. Tell us all about it. Leave us a comment. Right. With that, then we'll see you in 2 weeks' time. I've been Jay.
I've been Carl. Have a good evening, all.